Welcome to the latest episode of the Real World Nutrition Podcast. This is episode 220, Holiday Stress, Why It Happens, and What to Do About It. Hi everyone, welcome to the latest episode of Real World Nutrition. And in case you aren't listening to this when it drops, this is being recorded in December for the holiday season, but a lot of things that are talked about in this episode can apply year-round. And holiday stress does get talked about every year. Every year, people nod along like this is just how December works or how any month of the year works. This time of year, it seems like we have busier schedules, packed calendars, less sleep, more obligations, and somehow we're all expected to keep functioning at full capacity. But stress isn't just an inconvenience. It has a real physiological response in the body. And the holidays do not create the stress out of thin air. They magnify what is already there. And again, I want to emphasize, while I am talking in the context of holidays, you can think of it as any other, so what I would say major event in your life that may be out of the norm. So if you're planning a wedding or a move, there's going to be added layers to this outside of the holidays. But again, this is holiday specific, but again, these things can apply all the time. Now, before going forward, I do want to mention that I do have a companion blog post for this that I wrote on burnout-proof holidays and protecting your energy, and that is linked in the show notes. And I emphasize that it is a companion. It's not a transcript of this podcast. Now, let's assume and accept that most people don't have a blank schedule or a wide open schedule with lots of free time. Most people are juggling work, family, finances, health, and other expectations, often all at once. And I want to talk about this in the context of when it comes up in nutrition conversations. Because as long as I've been doing this work, people have said to me that they cannot focus on their eating habits because things are stressful right now. And that's said with complete honesty. There is this idea that after they reach a specific hurdle or go over a specific hurdle, past a specific date, past something, they'll be able to have more time to devote to their eating habits. But stress really makes things harder. It affects our appetite, motivation, planning, and the follow-through. All of it. So this is where I ask the question, when will you not be stressed? When will this pass? Because in reality, it's not going to pass next week, not next month, not after the holidays, not after work slows down, not after life feels easier, because for most adults, let's face it, stressors are not temporary. They change, but they do not disappear. So again, I want to say this. When I've worked with people, they say, yes, last week was stressful. I didn't even tackle the goals I had. Following week, last week was stressful. I'm working on it still. Again, last week was stressful. Last week was stressful. This is why I didn't do anything. This is what's causing me to not move forward. So again, stress is not temporary. And this doesn't mean stress is not important. It means we have to learn how to work with it instead of waiting for it to go away. So what is stress really? Stress is the body's response to a perceived threat. And the key word here is perceived. The body does not differentiate between running from danger and running late to a meeting. The same systems in the body get activated. And this is the fight or flight response, which is controlled by the sympathetic nervous system and driven by hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, and norepinephrine. So when this system turns on, several things, I should say, happen very quickly. And these hormones all have a role in it. Heart rate increases, blood pressure goes up, blood is redirected from the non-essential systems at the moment, such as digestion, and it goes towards the muscles so the body can fight or flee. Blood sugar rises because glucose is released into the bloodstream for quick energy. Fat is also mobilized for fuel. And this all happens in a very, very quick succession, almost simultaneously. And this response is so incredibly helpful if you are in danger, if you need to deal with something that is really threatening. It is not helpful when it is turned on all day long because your calendar is packed, your inbox is full, your to-do list never ends. The body does not know that the threat is an email, a deadline, family expectations. It only knows that it is being told to stay on high alert. So this is all the stress response in the body. So your brain may know that, oh, it's an email or family expectation, but the physiological response is still happening. And when stress becomes chronic, meaning it's ongoing rather than short-lived, the consequences start to stack up. Now think about when you have an acute stress event, when all of those things happen, your heart rate increases and the blood is directed to the essential places, and blood sugar rises and the fat is mobilized. Think about when you have this stressful encounter and it's past. It is long past, but it can take your body 30 minutes, an hour, even longer to calm down from that. So think about that if you're in that chronic stress situation. Sleep becomes harder. Even when there's time to sleep, the body can struggle to fully power down. Appetite can be unpredictable. So some people feel hungrier and crave higher fat or higher sugar foods. Others lose their appetite entirely and feel a constant knot in their stomach. And neither of these responses are a lack of willpower. They are physiology. Those cravings for comfort foods make sense when you understand the stress hormones are already pushing sugar and fat into the bloodstream. The brain wants and needs quick energy, and highly palatable foods do that efficiently. Now, on the other side of things, stress can suppress hunger because digestion is not a priority in fight or flight. Blood flow is diverted away from the gut, and this can leave people skipping meals without realizing it. That's where people say, oh, I forgot to eat. I see this a lot, especially among the college students I work with. And this worsens energy levels and stress later in the day. So this is where the cycle starts. Stress affects eating. Eating patterns affect energy, blood sugar, and mood. Those changes can increase the physical stress on the body, which then feeds back to the stress response. Food and mood, they're not separate systems. They are deeply connected. And again, this is not willpower or self-control. It is a connection inside the body. Now, layer the holidays on top of this. More events, more obligations, more decisions, more expectations, often less routine, potentially less sleep, less downtime. Time pressure becomes a major factor. There's more to do, less space to do it. Meals might become something that's squeezed in rather than something that is planned. And this can be or is often when convenience foods, takeout, delivery, or quick meals become more frequent. And this is where it is important to clearly say that there is nothing inherently wrong with doing this. So it doesn't have to be black or white, all or nothing. Not every meal needs to be homemade. Not every dinner needs to be perfectly balanced or made from scratch. So I want to make it clear here, the issue is not convenience, but more the problem stems from the frequency and lack of support around it. So ordering a pizza, not a problem. Ordering a pizza or other takeout food every night because there's no plan and no backup might leave someone feeling more depleted over time. So protecting energy does not mean we have to do everything from scratch. It means making choices that reduce strain rather than add to it. So what might this look like? This could be pairing convenience foods with something simple. So like a frozen entree and a bag salad. Takeout with added vegetables from home. Breakfast that is repetitive, but it's reliable, consistent. Energy protection is not about optimizing everything, but it's about sustainability. Can we continue to do this? So protecting the energy so we don't burn out. So I want to dive a little bit deeper into this. What does protecting your energy actually mean? It means recognizing that energy is a limited resource. It is not infinite. It is influenced by sleep, nutrition, stress, hydration, and boundaries. One of the biggest energy drains during the holidays is overcommitting. Heck, that could be any time of year, right? There are those have to do things and there's the want to do things. And when everything gets treated like a have to do, burnout follows quickly. So I've recently changed my to-do list into must do, should do, want to do. And a lot of the must do's get done, and there's often a want to do in there that I can check off the list, but it really helps me find that priority there. But let's go back to the holidays here. Not every invitation needs a yes. Not every tradition needs to be held up exactly as it always has been. And not every task needs to be done personally. That's been one that was tough for me for a long time. Protecting energy often means deciding what matters most and letting go of things being, or I should say, allowing for things to be good enough. It also means planning ahead when possible. So this doesn't mean we need to have a color-coded calendar, and if people know me, I don't have a color-coded calendar. It can be as simple as knowing which nights will be busy and having a loose plan for food and rest on those days. It also means acknowledging that stress will not disappear, but it can be managed. And sleep really deserves a mention here because it plays a major role in stress regulation. Poor sleep increases cortisol levels and makes stress feel heavier. Stress then makes sleep harder. And we've got another cycle going here. Stress affects sleep, sleep affects stress, stress affects sleep, and so on. So even small improvements in our sleep routines can help. Having consistent wake times, reducing late night scrolling or any screen activities, creating a wind down routine that is just a signal to the body that it's safe to rest. We're getting ready to go into rest mode, so we're okay with resting. And none of this requires it to be perfect. Okay, so if you want to have a wind down routine that starts at 9:30 and oh my gosh, you don't do it until 10, okay, let's not add more stress to this. And that brings me to compassion. So stress is not a moral failing. Things can feel overwhelmed during the busy season. It doesn't mean anybody's doing anything wrong. And I want to make it clear that feeling overwhelmed may be our feeling. We can delegate things to other people, and if other people aren't doing things, maybe take a look at them and see, why are they okay with it? Maybe we need to take a lesson from them or ask them for help. Managing stress is not about pushing harder, but adjusting expectations, supporting the body, and recognize limits. A lot of times those expectations are ones we put on ourselves, and so we can really adjust those much easier. The holidays are coming and going. They do it all the time every year. Stress will change shape, but it's never going to go away. Learning how to protect energy now can make it easier to navigate these stressful times, not just in December, but the rest of the year as well. So I want to make this clear. This episode and life in general, we cannot eliminate stress. When people use the term stress-free, I don't like that phrase. I do less stress. I say less stress, not stress-free, because we can't get rid of it. And it's about understanding stress, respecting it, and responding in ways that can support our health instead of undermining it. And if stress is the reason that your health goals keep getting pushed off, this is the moment to stop waiting for the calm and start working within that reality, because that is where real change actually happens. And with that, I'll mention this. I don't mention it very often, but I do work with people one-on-one. And if you're interested or curious of what that might look like, I always have a link in the show notes to my calendar where you can schedule a free 30-minute discovery call. See what we can work together on. And with that, I want to wish you happy holidays, whatever one or ones you may be celebrating in the month of December. And you take care of yourself, and bye for now.